Okay, so today's video is going to be a little bit different than probably what you're expecting. Most of the times I cover crypto projects that you're interested in, and I just talk about what I'm doing. And today didn't feel right to do that. Um, just so you know what's going on, this morning I attended the funeral of a young couple that I know from my home church. And this young woman was tragically killed in a car accident. It was just her. She leaves behind her newly married husband, and she was in the car with their 4-month-old baby girl. Luckily, the baby girl survived. Sadly, the mother didn't, and the family, um, just seeing them today, it just puts everything into perspective. Now, I'm not on here to come bog you down with another sad story, because the media, if you watch anything on the news, it's just filled with sad stories. You hear about 10 people die, and or we have even the war in Iraq. You can become numb, and I think today it was just like you put a face and a name. I know these are great people, awesome couple, high school sweethearts, and she's like 24. Her name's Cali. And it's heavy, and it's hard to just flick, this, to just go from let's talk crypto and life happens. And I think as men, and I wanted to speak to the men because most of you guys a lot of you are young men that watch this channel, and it's hard because we as men don't process our emotions. We tend to just busy ourselves and move our brain back to that part of productivity. If we can just keep producing, eventually the pain will disappear. A lot of us will go to a substance, whether it's alcohol, whether it's weed or other drugs, and we don't often learn how to cope with our emotions. And so for me, I'm not trying to be your therapist today. I am just trying to be as real and honest as I know how to be. And I'm really just coming on here to say, look, sometimes in life, it's okay to pause. It's okay to just step back from that, the stress of culture that says you got to produce. Your value as a man is in what you produce. It's a number in a bank account. It's a number in your MetaMask wallet. And to simply just remind you, like, no, you are worth so much more. And life is so short that our days really are unknown. And because they're unknown, you should value and live every day as if it's your last. And we've heard that before. But listening to the stories today at the funeral about her life and how positive she was, and she was someone that was known for what she was for and not for what she was against. And it was a reminder to me, like, you have an opportunity in your life. You can be known for everything you're against and try to get everybody to see the world the way you do and just defend and go and or repay evil with evil. And when someone throws a stone at you, you just throw one back. And you can do that. And a lot of people choose to do that. Or you might try to focus in on the person you see in the mirror before you go to bed every night. And I know for me, I share this story a lot with people that ask me, hey, how you doing or whatever. And I say, the number one thing I'm concerned about is the guy I see every night before I go to bed. I look at myself in the mirror every night and I ask myself, who are you? And if the answer is someone that I'm ashamed of, or I don't like who I'm becoming or whatever, that's when I deal with that. But my goal is every night before I lay my head on the pillow to ask myself, like, who are you? And is the person you're becoming, because we're all becoming somebody. None of us are a final product. We're all works in progress, right? Who is this person? Do you like him? Oh, I love myself. Yeah, but do you like yourself? Like, are you someone that you're proud of? And my YouTube channel is not about throwing stones or making it sound like I get it all right all the time. I definitely don't. You guys have followed my journey. I have made all sorts of dumb financial decisions, or I've been a part of projects that again, That's part of the crypto DeFi world, sadly, but none of that defines who you and I are. And but what defines a man is in his honesty and in his integrity. Um, as you guys know, in last week, we got highlighted on a famous YouTuber's video, and I gave my response. Please go watch that. This video is not about that. I've already made my response, but it was a reminder of like, man, you can get clipped, and people can all make all sorts of assumptions about you. And that's why it's so important at the end of every night, you look yourself in the mirror and go, are they right? Are your critics right? Is there anything, like, I'm all for turning your critics into coaches. You never want to just turn a blind eye. Like, I'm always reevaluating. Like, maybe there's things I can change or things I can. But at the end of the day, that's what matters most to me. And I was inspired today by the life of this young woman who, she left a lot of journal entries. She would write a lot. She was a sports reporter. And just hearing her being so in tune with who she was a great reminder of me to be more in tune with who I am, to not just listen to what others might assume or think about you. It's amazing. I believe that, like, I don't engage in like Facebook wars or keyboard warriors. I'm not trolling everybody in the comment sections. I don't do that. Well, I've never found value in it. I don't think it's a place to change someone's mind. I really believe if you're going to say something about someone, it should be after you've had a meal with them. Because how many times have we been wrong about somebody, but you go have a meal with them, you break bread and you're like, oh, that's who they are. And it's so easy to hide behind a camera or a keyboard, and we would say things on camera or keyboards that we wouldn't say if we were in front of that person. And on my channel, I don't do that because I don't see the wisdom of it. I'm all for being fully transparent and honest, which I think that's why you guys are still here. Like I said last week, with the attacks that we were getting, it was so sad because it was like, we have been nothing but transparent the whole time with our community. I'm speaking specifically about Goldbridge. And I remember thinking, like, there's so much misinformation going on. And that's what happens when you get clipped. Even today, I heard like that we had sent wires to Trader's Domain to false LLCs. Like, it's just not true. There's all sorts of false information. We didn't send any wires. We were not sponsors. We never got paid. We never spoke with anybody at Trader's Domain. Nobody from there spoke with us. There was no take a little off the top of the deposits and the sacrifice. Like, again, for me, I can spend all my energy trying to convince the world, or I can care about when I look in the mirror and go, who are you? Are you truly a man of integrity, or are you full of crap? And that doesn't mean like, are you perfect? It doesn't mean, are you better than no, I am a faulty man. I am far from perfect, but I have 100% the intention to help and serve people. I don't want to ever hurt anybody. And watching a young girl get her life ripped away, her life stripped from her 4-month-old baby, her life in this brand new house they bought, stripped from her husband, it brings everything back. And it's that question of like, well, what are you living for? Who are you becoming? Again, this video is more just like me ranting off to you what I'm processing today. Yeah, this is take one, I know. So I have no idea what I was going to say. I just thought, I can't come on here and cover what I was going to cover today. We'll do all that tomorrow. But I also had a burden for some of the men that maybe you feel like you don't, your worth is all about that number. You're still pursuing, I got to make as much as that guy, or you're looking over your shoulder at someone else's MetaMask account and you feel inferior, or you've tried a business and it's failed. You know, you got taken advantage of by a business partner and you feel alone. Nobody understands the full story. You don't feel accepted. Whatever you're dealing with, it's okay. Welcome to being a human being. Hurt people. Like there was a pastor once, he said, Jonathan, never underestimate the hurt in the room. And that stuck with me. Every time you meet someone at the grocery store or walking, you just don't know the hurt that people are carrying. Everybody carries a weight. And you, as a human, have the opportunity to add to their weight or to take a little bit of it off their shoulders. I want to help be a guy that takes a little bit of weight off people's shoulders. I don't need to talk about it. This sounds like I'm somehow virtuous. I don't want to do that. Again, this isn't rehearsed. When I hear myself say that, I'm like, just do it. Stop talking about it and just be that guy. And that's what I want to be. And today that meant calling a couple friends and just checking in. How are you doing? You know, it's simple things. It was me this past weekend. I spent time with my mother, went on a 3-mile walk, talked about life. You know, took family. We went and celebrated my sister's birthday and made sure I got her the card. And at our age, you know, we don't really exchange gifts or whatever, but like wrote a personal note in there. Hey, I'm proud of you. I see you. My sister's a new mom, letting her know, I think you're doing an amazing job. Maybe you have a husband, wife. You just haven't told them that lately. Don't think that you have tomorrow. This is your reminder. The fact that you made it this far in this silly little rant is maybe you need the reminder just as much as I did today. And I don't, I'm not acting like I have anything to offer you. I am not this profound man in any way. I am just a man working, a work in progress. But when but yeah, just attending that funeral was very sobering. A good reminder to all of us, like, who are we becoming? What do you want to be known for? I want to be right, or I want to become more like love. There's a story I'll leave you with that whenever I get asked to speak, I typically will share this story at the end. You know, it's a story of a guy named Bob Goff, and he raised his kids. I don't know if it was 2 or 3, but every night before bed, he bought a mirror, and it was just a handheld mirror, and he'd put it on their nightstand, and then he'd tuck them in bed, and then he'd grab the mirror and he'd hold it over their head. So they're lying down, and he's holding it over their head, and he'd ask them one question. He'd hold the mirror over their head and he'd say, "Who do you see? Who do you see?" And the kids, you know, at the beginning thought it was silly and like, "Dad, it's me, you know, what's the big deal?" But over time, they started to respond by saying, "I see someone who's brave. I see someone who is compassionate," you know, and they would talk, and then he'd say, "Well, why do you see that? You know, how come you see that?" And they would share a story, like, "I helped someone today," or whatever. And then he tells the story of how the kids went off to college, and he noticed that in their boxes they had packed the mirror. And he said in his conclusion of the story, he said, "What I've learned from raising kids and just being around human beings is that humans don't often need to be told what to do as much as they need to be reminded who they are." Isn't that, I just love that. So let me say it again. Most of the time, the people in our lives, they don't need to be told what to do. Most people know what to do. They need to be reminded who they are. And it's like grabbing my sister or grabbing a loved one and saying, "You know who I see? You are a woman of compassion. You are a woman that makes others feel great about themselves when you walk in the room. You embody joy. When you show up you make the place feel a little bit brighter. Are you like that? Am I like that? You know? And does it matter? Or is it just about crypto and content? You know? We need pauses like this. So thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for listening. This is where I'm at. I hope, you know, if this really bothers you, you don't have to be here. You can unsubscribe happily. I'm working on a number of new things right now, actually. I'm working on something I'm really super excited about. I'm excited about a lot of different things, but today is a day that has just been sobering. And I hope that you take a moment and reflect on who you're becoming. And maybe it's that habit, like what I try to do before I go to bed every night. I look in the mirror and just ask, who are you? And if that's all you take from this video, awesome. If you take nothing from this video, that's okay too. Maybe this just isn't the time. That's fine. And hear me out. I am not a perfect man. I am not acting like I have it all together. I don't. There's a lot of things in my life that I wish were differently, if you're honest. And I know we only encounter each other via the screen and the camera, but I assure you, there's a real guy right here. There's just a real guy trying to figure a lot out, trying to do his best, trying to be honest, transparent, have integrity, you know, make money online, have fun. We're playing a game. Like, I try to do my best when it comes to, well, I think that's it. I don't want to talk about anything other than that. Just, it is what it is. First take. I'm not going to edit this video. I just appreciate you being here. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. And I promise we won't do this tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll come on here and I'll talk about some project, and we'll have trolls tell me that's a rug pull and that you shouldn't do that. And we'll get right back to the regular DeFi charade circus. But today it was important that I just share that. So to all the men, respect. Thank you for hearing me. And to those that will troll me for this video, I understand you got to do what you got to do. But I love you all. I really do. And I'm so grateful that you watch my content. I'm not even that good on YouTube. I understand that. Tomorrow I'm having an important conversation with James Pelton on a little bit of a topic like this. We thought it would be really good to model, you know, a conversation. He and I have a lot of differences when it comes to religious belief, and you know, he displays his faith a lot more openly than I do, and I used to be a lot more like, it's going to be a fascinating conversation. So again, like and subscribe to this channel. You can do that with James as well. But yeah, be kind to one another. We never know when we don't know our last day on this planet. And don't you think it's just better to spend your time being known for what you're for, not for what you're against? All right. I love you guys. We'll see you in the next one.